All right, now to a topic that we've been following closely here, and that's the psychedelic drug treatment Ibogaine. It's a promising new psychoactive compound, a natural compound that could help veterans heal from trauma such as PTSD or overcome addiction. Former Governor Rick Perry has been a fierce supporter for this drug in Texas. And Governor Abbott just last month signed legislation to allocate $50 million on clinical trials to study Ibogaine. There's also a brand new Fox Nation special that focuses on the battle to make this drug legal in the United States, with advocates and veterans opening up about how Ibogaine has changed their lives.
Logically, the best answer was taking my own life because I had exhausted all of my options.
And that's when I made the decision to go try these sorts of therapies because I had nothing left.
In Mexico, it's a legal compound. We've sent 1,000 war fighters down there.
This medicine is healing so many veterans. There's no question we're supposed to be using it for this.
And the results from clinical studies, it cannot be denied.
This is a complete reboot, but you're still exactly who you are. You're just a much better version.
We had the answer. We know that this works.
We will crawl the last mile.
I'm willing to put my reputation on the line.
These men and women should not have to leave their country to heal.
All right, our next guest is leading the charge on Ibogaine, and he's featured in the special that is out this Thursday. So joining me now is the CEO of Americans for Ibogaine, Brian Hubbard. Brian and I were just joking. He's got many nicknames. They all seem to revolve around hillbilly something or another. But I'm glad to have you on the program. This is a fascinating development in treating PTSD and addiction.
It's a privilege to be here with you, Mr. Kane, and you know you never can escape your roots, so you just kind of got to wear the costume you were given.
Well, tell us what people need to know. I think there is often not unfounded skepticism about any new drug, any new compound, certainly one under the banner of psychedelics, but tell us what we need to know about Ibogaine.
Well, let's begin with the necessity for Ibogaine. Over the past 50 years, Americans have experienced the mass extinction of family and community. Over the past 30 years, they have experienced the institutional criminality of governmental, financial, and cultural systems that are supposed to protect and serve them, but that have instead created the opioid epidemic, the 2008 financial crisis, the COVID-19 virus, and 24 years of unmerciful warfare, which have seen exponentially more service members die here at home by suicide than were lost on battlefields abroad. Over the past 10 years, the sum total paid for that criminality has been 1.5 million individuals lost in America to drug overdose, alcohol-related disease, and suicide. At the heart of trauma and addiction is profound spiritual affliction. Governor Perry has founded Americans for Ibogaine so that we can expeditiously medicalize the most sophisticated molecule on the planet for the sake of every mind, body, and soul living at the end of hope.
What an answer. I want to follow up with a little bit about you, because I think you're an interesting messenger.
Thank you.
You come from Appalachia. You come from Virginia, corner of Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, coal mining family, you said. And you stumbled into this in looking into, in the state of Kentucky, the opioid crisis.
Yes, sir. Like individuals who seek Ibogaine, whether they happen to be the Special Forces veterans featured in your documentary or individuals who have, as a last ditch before the cemetery, sought to cure their addiction with the therapeutic effects that it ostensibly has, as a government servant in Kentucky and chairman of the state's opioid commission, I was desperate to find a solution that could foster a therapeutic breakthrough for opioid-dependent individuals who want to return to a life of autonomy and choice rather than be imprisoned by the compulsion of addiction. I had followed for some time medical breakthroughs that were being discovered with the application of psilocybin to alcoholism, and had followed for some time medical research around psychedelics. After I received the job to run the Opioid Commission, I reached out to an author who had written beautifully about her own experiences with psilocybin and how they had helped heal her. And I said, what can you tell me about psychedelics and opioid addiction? She said, have you ever heard of Ibogaine? And that was on July 29 of 2022. And everything that has since occurred has been a blessed odyssey, even the hardships.
And tell us a little bit more about, so that I don't presume that anybody watching actually understands what we're talking about here when probably never heard of this concept, ibogaine. It's a plant, a root plant from Africa that has been used by veterans, as you point out, with PTSD and addicts that you take one time. And as you mentioned a moment ago, at the source of all of these things is trauma. And this drug, again, which you take sometimes more than once, twice, but it's not an ongoing basis, gets to the root of the trauma?
Yes, sir. So for centuries, the Bwiti peoples of West Africa, who primarily reside in Gabon, have used ibogaine, which is an alkaloid from the mother plant iboga, in their spiritual and cultural traditions for centuries. In the mid-60s, an individual who was heroin dependent by the name of Harold Lotsoff encountered ibogaine, and he took it, and it resolved his heroin addiction. Not only did it resolve his heroin addiction, but it resolved any withdrawal that he would have otherwise experienced from abstinence. This touched off a 60-year explosion of observational field data, which has well documented that ibogaine has profound addiction interruption potential when taken by substance-dependent individuals, whether it's opioid, meth, alcohol, or anything else that can cause physiological substance dependency. It is not a now and forevermore cure, but it does create a window of physiological, psychological, and spiritual restoration for an individual to rebuild a shattered life. It is a very serious medication that comes with cardiac danger and should never be taken by a person on their own without strict medical supervision in a clinically controlled medical setting.
I appreciate you bringing up the risks of ibogaine, but I have heard the anecdotal testimony from someone like Marcus Luttrell, who's not only used it to get over his PTSD, but as you mentioned, to kick alcohol, to kick Copenhagen, to kick all of his addictions. And I mentioned there's a Fox Nation special up right now. It's streaming, or it's coming this Thursday. Brian is featured in it, and you can hear more about it. It's ibogaine, The Fight of a Lifetime, Thursday, July 17th. That's going to be at foxnation.com. I could talk to you for an hour or two. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have right now. I could listen to you recite the phone book with that accent,
thank you, Mr.
but I
Kane.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.